If you have ever required further proof that Drake is a loser, look no further than these recent litigation filings. The fact that him and his team are filing this shortly after Kendrick Lamar's album release isn't a good look. Even if the intentions are pure in attacking the label for unethical practices, it is the right message, but the wrong messenger. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, you all? We got to talk about this litigation stuff with Drake and his filings. Oh, when I saw this headline, I was like, girl, this can't be real. I hope Drake is not digging a deeper hole, but it's like, this is Drake we're talking about. Like, he is one of a kind. He is going to go down as one of the most interesting artists on the face of this planet. Like, it's this whole situation. We have never seen anything like this, where a artist, a rapper, loses a beef that they kind of started and file litigation, like taking the legal route. This goes in the joke about you being the cops, about you being soft. This adds to this. This adds everything to this. And what is even further hilarious is that for Drake to say that he fed all of this information, like this was some of the stuff he was saying in his disses back at Kendrick, that he fed all this information. How are you now filing two litigations against stuff that you fed? Maybe I don't understand how billionaires play chess or whatever. Maybe this is a chess versus checkers thing, and maybe I'm Uno'd out. Maybe that's what's going on. But looking at this litigation, we have to understand that this is not an official lawsuit. This is the beginning stages of one. There's this law in New York City that allows you to file litigation to get and stop information from being destroyed for your case. So Drake is in the beginning stages of that. Like, hey, UMG, do not destroy no evidence. Don't do anything. I have a case against y'all and I'm preparing for it, and I need all the information to make sure that my case is successful. Now, is he going to win this? I doubt it, because the things that Drake is alleging are things that have happened for years, from my understanding. The industry has been doing these things for the longest. Now, Universal Music Group responded to this litigation with this statement. The suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue. We employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans chose the music they want to hear. Woo, this is shady. Now, two things stand out to me in this response is that ethical, like we followed ethical interpretation. Like, hey, we follow the law. Like we follow the law in the books. Like it's not illegal, but this is what it is. But they're saying ethical. And this to me, as to like what you're trying to say is that we were being unethical in how we were campaigning and supporting said artists. And that's simply not true. Also, in the response of the fans chose the music they want to hear. Woo! Now, keep in mind that Drake is signed to Republic Records, which is a subsidiary of Universal Music Group. And also, Kendrick Lamar is using UMG as a distribution. Like, he has a distribution deal with them. So, both of them have some interconnected workings with Universal Music Group. And Universal Music Group is like, yeah, girl, like we did promotional campaigns and all of that to support what everybody wanted to hear. Now, from my understanding and what I have come to believe is that this has been going on for the longest. Like, this is nothing new. What Drake is basically saying is payola. But they have said that payola has been around since the 1940s. Like, labels spend money to make sure their artists and stuff, their music gets played and all of that. It's not something that is unheard of. Now, one of the claims that Drake and his team are making is that UMG charged Spotify licensing rates 30% lower than its usual rates for Not Like Us, in exchange for Spotify recommending the song to users who are searching for unrelated songs and artists. What I will say is that it is funny hearing Drake say this, because Drake has benefited from this same said system, even to the point that you have people now finding old tweets from Spotify back in 2018 where Spotify is using promotional material to make folks stream Drake's albums and songs. So it's funny watching Drake talk about this, but he has been the person who has benefited from the most. I think if anything, this is Drake trying to protect his legacy. I think this is Drake trying to say and muddy the waters that, hey, like, yes, Kendrick was doing good, but he was able to do even more damage because of how these labels are. He is trying to make the labels the bad guy. He is trying to say that the labels are responsible for Kendrick Lamar's success. And the label is responding and saying, like, no, they wanted to hear this. They wanted to hear, you know, these songs and stuff. And it's not our fault. Now, I believe Drake really, like I said from the very beginning, is that he completely underestimated Kendrick Lamar. Drake, for the longest, has reminded folks over and over again that he is basically the CEO of his label. He makes jokes about advancements and, you know, needing more money and that the label is going to give him more cash and all that. Like, even to the point that one of the people over at the label has made comments back about it. Like, Drake has benefited from this said system so much that the label has put so much backing behind him that it's funny watching him now say, hey, y'all did the same thing y'all was doing for me for Kendrick Lamar. Now, is he able to prove it? Who knows? Did the label or whatever help and promote Kendrick stuff? Probably yes, I believe it, but I also believe that they didn't have to do much because people wanted to hear it. People wanted to hear it. You know, yes, they probably spent a little money promoting it and benefiting from it, but, you know, it was because it was easy to do. Like, yes, you can put stuff in folks' ear and their face, but if they don't like it, they just don't like it. And people did. And yeah, you can show me a commercial. How many times? I'm pretty sure right now y'all watch a commercial watching this video and it's something being pushed in front of you and something you're not interested in buying. You're not finna support it. You're like, oh, girl, I don't need that. You know, you ain't went and bought it. Some people probably did, but a lot of folks aren't interested in it. So just because someone put it in your face doesn't mean that you're going to buy it or listen to it. I think that Drake is trying to, again, make the label the bad person. He's trying to make the label the bad person, and it is backfiring. This beef is going on 7 months old, to be honest. It's about to be a year. We're close to a year, to be honest. And Drake, honestly, at this point, needs to log off. He is making this worse for himself. He just needs to log off. I don't think he needs to be doing anything. Even when he was on the streamers live or whatever, and they played some music by The Weeknd and they were asked to turn it off.
You have to switch this on.
It's on a play, you know, it's like
You have to switch this one. We're real Sixers. We're real Sixers. They're real six side. We don't listen to that.
you know what it is before?
Nah. What? Yeah. Of course. What do you mean? Yeah, exactly.
You're almost 40 years old. You're a grown man, Drake. And you are also a celebrity. People are going to play The Weeknd. People are going to play Kendrick Lamar. They're going to play, like, you are coming off as a 40-year-old bully. Like, what is going on with Cash Money Records? What's going on with Young Money? Whatever, like, what's going on with Young Money? Crashed Out Records, because all of them are crashed out. You got Lil Wayne complaining about Kendrick Lamar, responding to that. Now you got Drake out here. You got Nicki Minaj out here. And you know what point that folks made is that whenever Nicki was dealing with her mess, they didn't jump in. But the moment they was dealing with their stuff, Nicki chimed in to protect. You didn't see Lil Wayne come out and say anything. He wasn't going to say anything. But I don't think this is a good idea for Drake. I think he thought it was a good idea. I think he should have thought it over. And like I said, even if this is something, because they're saying that this could be beneficial for other artists and stuff who, you know, don't have a label, and how, you know, the streaming wars and stuff do not benefit artists at all. Like, their music can be streamed down, but they don't get that much residuals from that much. The song wasn't doing that much numbers, word to Cardi B. And, you know, it could be beneficial for them. It could be that. But Drake is the wrong messenger. Even if this is a legitimate critique or litigation or whatever against the labels and how they use money and promotional materials, if it is unethical, Drake is the wrong messenger. Drake is the wrong messenger for this because he is somebody who has benefited from it and has never really talked about how messed up these things are. It has always been what's good for the goose for him. It's good for you and what you've been able to accomplish. Now that you are on the opposite end, you can't take it. You cannot take it. And it just reminds me of folks who have never been told no in their lives, never been told no and be shocked when something like this happens. They cannot conceptualize it. It is hard for them to come to a reality that they are not doing well. They're crashing out like, this is too much. You have been successful for so long. You egged this beef on, you said all of these things, and you lost. And if you had any good friends around you, they would have told you and been honest with you and said, hey, this is not what you want. Like, girl, like you and your success as far as like being number one, sold out, all the other stuff, doesn't mean that you're a good, talented artist. We know that. Look who got named number one as from Billboard, the number one artist of the decade or whatever. Look who got named. Homegirl had a way more successful tour than Beyonce, but Beyonce is an artist. She is talented in all ways. There's no denying that. Just because you've been able to sell out and do all the other stuff doesn't mean that you're more talented. But we've gotten to the point where we associate so much of the streams and the numbers and number ones to actual talent. And it's not the same. When people ask you why you listen to an artist, you're not saying because they're number one. The fact that you're saying, oh, they're number one, I don't say that. When I listen to Never Say Never, it's because that album feels good to me. Broken Hearted has been on replay for the last couple of days. Like, Never Say Never is my album. I don't care what the numbers were for Brandy, but I love the album. Aphrodisiac speaks to me coming into my queerness at a young age and realizing that it's going to be okay. Like Necessary, like going back to even Aaliyah's album, like, girl, what if, like singing about what if, or I Can Be. I was singing I Can Be at a young age. I can be, why am I telling a man? Why am I telling a man I can be the other woman in your life? Girl, see those albums, that music means something. I'm not naming what the artist was able to accomplish as a way of saying that's why I enjoy it. I enjoy it because it makes me feel good. And no one can ever tell me that I shouldn't listen to an artist because of their numbers. See how that works? We need to move back towards that the music is actually good. Maybe then artists will be more free to experiment and take a chance and look deep into something that they have not been able to achieve. Y'all know who that's for. But yes, like Drake is giving sore loser. And he's not taking this beef well. Now he has filed a second kind of a grievance, and he is saying that the comments and stuff and the stuff that Kendrick was saying about him being a PDF is not true, and that UMG used their stuff to promote it and is hurting him in some type of way. Now, this is from Billboard, but the filing also offers key new details about Drake's grievances towards UMG, the label where he has spent his entire career. In it, he says UMG knew that Kendrick's song falsely accused him of being a certified PDF and predator, but chose to release it anyway. UMG could have refused to release or distribute the song or required the offending material to be edited and or removed. But UMG chose to do the opposite. UMG designed, financed, and then executed a plan to turn Not Like Us into a viral mega hit with the intent of using the spectacle of harm to Drake and his business to drive consumer hysteria and, of course, massive revenues. That plan succeeded, likely beyond UMG's wildest expectations. Now, I feel like Drake's name needs to be put in that. This achieved expectations that were outside of Drake's wildest dreams. I don't think for a second that Drake ever thought that this was going to happen. But if Drake had any knowledge, he would have understood that, sister, you don't want to go against Kendrick. Like, this is why you have to have a good support system around you. This is why you cannot be surrounded by yes men. And honestly, Drake, Lil Wayne, and Nicki Minaj are all surrounded by yes people. This is why they have not had good music lately. They have too many yes people telling them that this is it. Their fans too. Like the fans, like even in response to Lil Wayne and his feelings about the Super Bowl, his folks should have said, "Hey girl, I love your music, Lil Wayne, but you're not a good performer." Like this wasn't a missed opportunity. It was actually a blessing in disguise, because if you got on there and looked the food and sounded the food, it would have been embarrassing for your career. It would have been embarrassing for your legacy. Same thing about Nicki Minaj in this last album. Like there's a reason why we ain't got no music videos to this album. Like there's a reason why. It's not that good. The album is not that good. We're not talking about it as much almost a year later. And Nicki is having to do everything in her power to get more attention back to this album that nobody's really caring about outside of her fans. And the same thing with Drake. His fans have come up with all type of things to support that, oh, he actually won, when none of these things were said back when this happened. His fans were saying that he's going to wipe the floor with Kendrick. None of them took Kendrick serious, and therefore Drake didn't take Kendrick serious, and which is why this happened. Like if Drake had honestly been perfecting his craft and really in the booth, he wouldn't have to deal with any of this. This is an honest critique that if Drake was really in the culture and understood the culture instead of just being a spectator, if he was really involved in the culture like that, he would have enjoyed it as a good thing for hip hop. He would enjoy it as a good thing for music and artistry. And it just reminds you who is an artist and who isn't. Because I'm going to be honest, Kendrick Lamar, if he had lost this rap battle, I don't think that he would have responded in a way like this. I think if anything, he would have came back and perfected his craft. He would have got in the studio and did that. Drake is not doing that. He's too busy on live streams telling folks to turn off the weekend music. That's all I got. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, child, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.